David Karangu, Chairman of the Kenya Diaspora Advisory Council, Georgia, members of the Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by thanking the organizers of this event for extending an invitation to the Kenya Mission in Washington to join you as we celebrate Mashujaa Day and Kenya at 50. This is the fourth Mashujaa Day, and we're celebrating following the promulgation of our new constitution in August 2010. It is the day that we celebrate our heroines and heroes. It is also the day that we celebrate our nation's journey. Let me also state that, Mr. Chair and members of the Atlanta community, what an honor it is for me to be among Kenyan citizens and friends of Kenya. Part of our path to nationhood is to acknowledge that your presence here in Atlanta today in this hotel is testimony of how diverse and expansive the Kenyan citizen is. We are no longer confined to our borders, but are part and parcel of the global diaspora community. So I salute you individually and as a community here in Atlanta for your achievements, for your solidarity, for your community, and the warmth that you extend to those who are outside your town. For your sacrifice and commitment, again, I congratulate you and I commend you. In celebrating today, we should reflect on our path to nationhood in the last 50 years. You will agree with me that it's been a tremendous journey for the nation of Kenya. Each one of us sitting here today is a custodian of the story of our nation. Our individual, family, and community experience as citizens is the collective memory of our nation. We recall potent moments. We recall our location and observation of key moments in our history. We have just heard of Mrs. Karangu here, who was part of the airlift in the 60s, the first Kenyans who came in mass to the US to study. Let me share with you what I discovered the other day. As a student of history and politics and law, I wanted to find out who was the first Kenyan to come to America. And did you know that in 1919, we had a Kenyan who did come to America as a student who went to Virginia to study of all subjects. Anybody know? Theology. Okay. So we have had a history of studentship and scholarship coming to America. So as I say, all of us are custodians of our history, our own path, our own life. If you think back on who you are as a Kenyan citizen and what you recall about your own nation's history. For me, I recall my grandparents sharing with me stories of their resistance to colonial education, policies, and their support for the establishment of independent schools. My family's own loss following the death of family members rounded up and killed in the famous Larry massacre, and the call to action to challenge the colonial government. Or my parents recalling with joy, as young Kenyans, how they felt when Kenya became independent in 1963. In my own life, I have been part of the struggle of a new constitutional order and better governance in Kenya. I have vivid and exciting historical memories about how we attempted to influence the change of Kenya in 1992 and how we voted in the first multi-party elections. I also recall Moi's call to constitutional review in January 1994, and I always remember this as a young activist, and Moi saying in the New Year message in January 1994 that, okay, finally I agree we're going to change the constitution, but only 6 people are going to be involved in that exercise, and I will choose those 6 people. And everybody thought, hang on, who made you the one voice that will change our constitution? And we started what became a strong national movement, social movement, for us as Kenyans to interrogate who we were in our nation state, our right to be part of constitution making, our right to decide who will amend our constitution and what the new constitution will look like. And you'll agree with me that that social movement consumed us for 20 years. And it's only in August 2010 that we finally were able to have a new constitution. So, going back, looking at Kenya at 50, this is an opportunity for us to regroup and to interrogate our nation's experience as an independent country. How well have we performed and discharged our mandates to Kenyans who gave up their lives for the making of the Kenya state? What anchors of the nation state have we set in place for future generations? These are the challenges that we must take forth into the future. We are called upon to manage our affairs guided by this new constitution we adopted in 2010, because this constitution reflects our struggles, our needs, and what we want for the future for our children. And we don't need to look elsewhere for solutions, because we fought so hard for that constitution and its provisions reflect what we desired for our future. So let me cite a few examples why this constitution is so important. This constitution has a strong bill of rights that promotes a culture of rights-based development. This constitution guarantees you, even if you step out our borders, that you're entitled to service, you're entitled to vote, because you remain a citizenship. As you know, if you take a dual identity, you still have your citizenship. This constitution devolves power and ensures that at every part of our country, everybody has a say in the affairs of our government. This new constitution outlaws discrimination and marginalization and says that every Kenyan is entitled to live and work anywhere in the country, and that there's no basis for discrimination. I love this constitution because it gives women equal citizenship. I was tired of a subjugated and a second-class status. So for women in Kenya, we have a strong a constitution that gives us the rights to pass citizenship to our children, and it gives us the rights to public office. Hence why I'm here with you today. And the Constitution also demands accountable government, that we are called upon as citizens to hold our leaders and government accountable. So my challenge to you all is that we have to embrace our responsibility to fully ensure that we implement the Constitution. I got worried recently when a section of our leaders said, maybe we need to amend the Constitution because maybe we didn't get it right on devolution. And I'm so happy that that effort was defeated. And you know why it was defeated? Because we knew that this was going to happen. And we put in such strong safeguards in our Constitution that it's almost impossible to change that Constitution. Is that not right? Because we knew that was going to happen. So I applaud you again for that effort that we made sure that that didn't happen. So how do you, Kenyans in the diaspora here, what is the challenge that takes you into the next 50 years of our great nations? You are a section of our population that have matured and come of age. The diaspora is something, a community that is recognized in our public policy, it's recognized in our legislation, and it's part and parcel of who we are as a community. In fact, we say the diaspora is the 48th what? County, isn't it? That this is a constituency that forms the 48th county in our constitution. So your economic and political influence should be harnessed in support of your motherland. At the opportune time, you will be called upon to stand up and defend your country's interests. Support our country's trade and investment agenda. You're sitting in a superpower where trade and investment is a core agenda for our bilateral relations between the Kenya government and the US government. We need you to be a strong voice and advocate for the reauthorization of AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunities Act, which is coming up in Congress for reauthorization in 2014. We need you to stand up, lobby your Congress, members of Congress, members of the Senate, to give AGOA due attention, because through AGOA, in Kenya, we're able to harness business that brings in an annual turnover of $300 million a year. We provide employment for over 100,000 Kenyans, and the level of skill transfer is immense and very important for our economy. And the thing about AGOA is that it benefits both Kenya and the US. So across the continent, both Kenyans and Americans benefit from AGOA. So at the opportune time, Mr. Karago and members of the Advisory Council, we at the Embassy will reach out for you to help us in our lobbying effort. We'd also like you, the diaspora, to defend our nation's strategic interest and partnerships. With America, we share a very important political strategic interest. And our position as a country, where we are within the East and Central Africa region, we share common security interests with the American government, and it's important that we hear your voices in defending and articulating how important Kenya's role as a defender of peace and security in the East and Central Africa region is important, and that needs to be maintained and recognized, and is a pillar for our bilateral relations with the US. And there are many other reasons that I could go on, but because of time and on this important day, let me conclude by again encouraging the Advisory Council to continue to provide leadership to all of you here in Atlanta, and for you to continue in a warm community spirit that continues to celebrate being Kenyan and provides the anchor that will take the Kenyan diaspora to the next 50 years as a strong community. Share with your children stories of our history and our heritage, and remind them who they are and where they come from. And just to emphasize that all children born to Kenyan parents are entitled to Kenyan citizens. So I'll hold all of you responsible as parents that you must get them Kenyan birth certificates so that they too can claim their citizenship and also their entitlements in Kenyan citizens. So in conclusion, let me make two announcements now that I'm here at the podium. First of all, I want you to all attend the Kenyan Diaspora Conference, the third, which will be held between the 13th and the 15th of December in Washington, D.C. I hope, we've got the little logo out there. Please visit our website and register to attend the conference. We have a very exciting program. There's a draft program on the website. Please look at it. We're going to be updating it from next week. This is your conference. We're going to have a big celebration for Kenya at 50, and we're going to have guests coming from Nairobi, so I expect to see all of you there. No excuses, and nobody has been exempted from that. The second is also just to add my voice to the call for all of you to consider joining the cooperative society. That cooperative society has your names written on it. It is for you, the diaspora. You need a mechanism within which you can invest in solidarity with one another so that you can build your wealth and become a rich and prosperous diaspora community. Am I right on that? Thank you so much, and have a lovely evening.